Okay. Okay, I think I figured that out, and now we're live. So thank you so much for joining us to do an examination of Duvel. Yeah, we've got some big bottles, we've got some little bottles. So Duvel is a Belgian golden strong ale, and for those of you that that follow the BJCP style guidelines, it's 18D. And so we'll go through and we'll look at aroma, appearance, flavor, mouthfeel, and then overall impression. And we'll try to weigh in on each of those categories. Okay, so I got to get my bottle open. So if anybody has it poured already, how does aroma look? Or how, do you like that? How does aroma smell?
How does the aroma smell? This beer I find, just because of the way they even have to tell you how to pour the beer, not that they're trying to be sticking their pinky out and having their nose up, but you do need to really follow those guidelines because it is such a carbonated, effervescent beer that if you pour it too aggressively, this head will overflow. But when you do it right, it has almost like a 2 or 3 fingered, nice rocky, almost soapy kind of a consistency head to it, and it is a little bit unfiltered. Yes, alright.
Definitely. And on aroma, I find it really mild, actually. Although I think I have allergies, so that I'm probably not the best person to talk to. Eric, what do you say about that?
I'm getting now. Eric and I and John Sharon looked at it a little earlier, just for our little pre-thoughts here, and I'm kind of getting almost like banana, clovey, citrusy notes, and some of that barnyard funky yeast and biscuity type malts, maybe. Banana.
Any other thoughts on aroma?
I can agree with that banana a little bit. I can smell that a little bit now.
Yeah, sometimes the yeast gives you that banana kind of a note. It's the strangest thing. If you drink German and Belgian beers, you get that nice little sweet banana note.
Yeah, I think also a little bit of spicy cloviness, which I
Mm-hmm.
find pretty characteristic of Belgians. I also have the Duvel triple hop,
Oh,
and when I
nice.
smell it, it's really intensely hoppy. Like grapefruit, definitely grapefruit hoppy. So it's interesting how distinct the two smells is. It's like this is sweet and mild, and this is intensely hoppy and grapefruity.
Yeah, from my understanding, they're using more, which is kind of strange for a Belgian beer. In that triple hop, they're using more of an American variety of hops that you normally don't see in European beers.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. That's exactly how it smells. And it says the hops are Saz and Styrian Golding.
Yep.
And it's dry hopped with Mosaic.
And just Amarillo somewhere in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's pretty strong. I'm actually kind of glad I'm trying them side by side, although that's a lot of beer I've got open at home. But I'm curious to see how they are different from each other.
Absolutely.
Anybody else want to weigh in on aroma?
What you getting there, Eric Anderson? Anything
There's
else that we didn't talk about?
I think you kind of had your finger on it earlier, where it's kind of almost like a pilsner kind of smell.
Oh, right, yes.
With a little bit of, I would say, I agree with you, the banana, a subtle banana note, and a subtle apple juice note.
And when I first popped open the beer, I immediately got this German or Czech kind of a pilsner malty nose right away.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, we got to taste the beer now. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
All right. So as far as appearance goes, for me it's kind of cloudy, but a nice gold color. And the triple hop is actually just a little bit more pale, but it could be that there's less volume in my small glass.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And I can tell.
I had to reboot. Sorry, guys.
Very carbonated. What were you saying, John?
I said I had to reboot. I'm sorry.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beer reviewing is always a struggle technology-wise.
Right?
You know that from Jay Terrio. Yeah.
The head is almost dish soapy. It's so sudsy.
Yeah. and it's lasting. Like there's actually topography in this pour where I can see, mountainous regions, and it's holding.
There it is.
Yeah. This thing here's just the head on mine's going down. It's just leaving lacing all the way around the glass.
Yes.
Yep. That's what we expect. All right, let's jump into flavor.
The first thing I got out of it is it literally reminded me of like champagne almost. And that might be because of the fruity notes that people were kind of mentioning before. And my dad had a little bit of it too, and he said kind of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're absolutely right about that with that champagne sort of quality.
I
And
think
I get the.
I think it was more of a. I mean, it's got the champagne taste, but it's almost like a dull champagne taste.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that kind of dry, dry kind of bitterness.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yeah, it says bitterness is typically medium to high from a combination of hop bitterness and yeast-produced phenols. So I think that's also pretty characteristic. I think that, and combined with like a kind of light mouthfeel, definitely gives it a champagne feel.
But I also think the yeast is way up front on this beer.
Mm.
Yeah, it definitely has that typical. I don't know what you call it. It's like a barnyard, funky earthiness to it that a lot of these Belgian beers seem to have right up in front, and it's also spicy nature. And I'm also getting a pretty nice, like I said when I opened the beer, almost like a Pilsner or like a German Pilsner or a Czech Pilsner, sort of a biscuity, malty up front, something like that.
Yeah.
It almost tastes like one of those beers. I mean, they're far and few between, but it's got like a live yeast in it, where the yeast is just continuously going in this beer. I don't think that's the way it is with this beer, but that's almost what it kind of gives you.
I do believe that the Duvel is bottle conditioned, so you could be right about that, John.
Yep, it's right there at the bottom.
That's what it says on mine too.
Does it even say bottle conditioned?
I believe so.
Yeah.
So.
Yep,
Right on the
there
bottom,
it goes.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
Right
can
there on
see-
the
you
bottom of the label.
That's what
You
I
get a
got.
coating at the bottom of the bottle.
Yeah, I was going to say, as far as
I
the
don't even know
comments
the bottom of
go,
it.
it says the best examples are complex and delicate. High carbonation helps to bring out the many flavors and to increase the perception of a dry finish. Traditionally bottle conditioned, meaning re-fermented in the bottle.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't even look at the bottom of it, but yeah, you could definitely tell it's one of those re-fermented beers.
Yeah, I've been sitting on its yeast for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do we follow the instructions on the back here too?
Yeah, if you have instructions on the back, then absolutely.
So
I
like,
didn't even read the bottle.
Oh,
Yeah,
you have the big format bottle. That's right. We all seem to have similar bottles here.
yeah. So what do you got there, Eric?
Mine
I don't have
says
instructions.
refreshing and golden like a Pilsner, but with the flavor, depth, and complexity of an ale.
Yeah, at the bottom though.
Oh, at
There's
the bottom it says.
Yeah, there's instructions.
Oh, the only instructions that I'm getting off of our big bottle that we got here is enjoy chilled 40, 50 degrees Fahrenheit with discerning friends or good-looking strangers. Hi, strangers.
I like that.
Got you covered.
If you don't have any of the instructions, we don't got to link it to you. You can go on this website here. I don't know. I can't even read it. Duvel.com. There's a video in about like 6 or 7 different steps on how to properly pour this beer. And as you can see from the lacing of the beer, that's one of the reasons why the head was large and in charge, and it's fully rich in carbonation.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, if you don't have any discerning friends, definitely find some good-looking strangers.
Amen.
So I mean, even after you've got about a finger and a half or 2 fingers left, and I got a pretty decent glass here, but I mean, it's still got a ton of carbonation, real hazy look on it.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Between lager and apple juice. That's my.
And I didn't get the funk off the bottom of my bottle, so I'm a little bit more clear.
I like the thing on the bottom.
Smoke on the bottom.
I think let's move on to. Oh, actually, hold on. I wanted to share real quick. So the triple hop version is a completely and totally different beer.
I think so.
I think it's really smooth and light up front, and then it has this huge hop impact. I don't know if any of you have had a chance to try a hoppy lager yet, where you get that kind of sweet corn flavor out of a lager, and then it has this like high impact hop finish on it.
Yeah.
That's what this is like, but in the Belgian variety. It's really interesting. You get all that kind of spiciness and mildness and fruitiness up front, and then it just packs this huge bitterness punch. Very interesting.
See, we don't have the only one we got around here is just the regular old Duvel. We can't get the that triple hop around here.
Yeah, there was one other variety. I don't remember what it was, and I'm almost kicking myself for not picking it up, but maybe I'll get it the next time and do a review of it on my channel. So let's move on to mouthfeel. What is everybody's impression of mouthfeel? Do you think, talk about carbonation, body?
I think it's got a lot of big carbonation in it. I almost think it's a real light bodied beer. I mean, I don't think it's really a medium, but I think it's a medium to light bodied beer in between there.
I gotta say my thoughts on that, and then what I really think about what John just said. I think what my assessment would be is I think it's straight up a medium mouthfeel, although I think not to make light of any of the drinking in John's career he may have done with lots of different craft beers, but I think if you're used to drinking a lot of different styles of beer and a lot of you go out of your way to try different styles, this may be on the lighter side of the mouthfeel for you, but I don't really think that in terms of the mouthfeel, and it does have a big carbonation, I don't think in terms of the mouthfeel this would scare away Bud Miller or Coors drinker at all. I think it would maybe invite them into being sort of curious about it.
I'm curious, were you making the point comparing mouthfeel to a Budweiser Coors, or the flavor, or the crowd of people that those styles of beers draw?
I was specifically, I think that's a really good question, because you could say that about both the mouthfeel and the flavor of the beer, but I don't think, and I was talking about the mouthfeel, where I don't think it's too heavy of a beer where somebody would say, oh, this tastes like, I'm just drinking liquid bread. I can't do this. Doesn't taste like that at all. I think it's easy enough going down and smooth enough that a normal beer drinker could get into something like this, I think.
I think for me, I think the aroma of the beer is freaking fantastic. Like you said, it's probably lighter to the medium side of the body. The flavor is great, but I think the carbonation is a little bit, just a tad much.
I agree.
But it's a good Belgian strong ale. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if you want to judge it for what it is, it's pretty freaking good if you could buy it in the U.S.
What you thinking there, Nathan?
For me, I'm thinking that this would be if I were celebrating something like, I don't know,
a new job.
Yes, I didn't say it. But yes, something like that. Then I would probably go out and get one of these and share it with, my closest 3 friends or whatever. Or probably 2 friends, actually, judging on how much I have left of this bottle, which is absolutely none now.
That's a review in itself.
Yeah, 750 milliliters goes a long way, but when you're trying to fill the glass, it doesn't really. I mean, you can get maybe a couple glasses, maybe 2.5 glasses out of it, I think.
It's just like Nate, smooth and easygoing.
Ah.
Now, let me go back on what Eric here iterated on. Is that we went last night to 2 different beer tastings, and we drank a beer from Against the Grain called 70K, which is aged on Angel's Envy barrels.
Wow.
So, so tonight, from what we've drank for the last 2 days, this is a light-bodied beer to me.
Right.
because we just hammered such big old freaking IBU beers in the last 2 days. It's been phenomenal. So,
Right
but to
on.
drink a beer that's aged on Angel Envy bourbon barrels, God, it's awesome.
Now, speaking of that, not to cut off Eric Anderson if he wanted to say something here, but what do you think that you're speaking about all these bourbon aged beers? What do you think would happen with a little bit of age on this beer? I mean, it's pretty light and easygoing in the first place. I don't know. What do you think?
I'll tell you what, if you put this beer on bourbon barrels, it would be phenomenal, I would think.
Yeah.
I think somebody just needs to try it.
Yeah.
It might be good on like rye barrels and giving it even a bigger, spicier note.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought. I think whenever I see a bourbon barrel aged beer, I almost always grab it. Like it pretty much doesn't matter who makes it or what other crazy stuff they put in it. So I just, for some reason, I really like that, and I think that I agree that this would lend some nice flavor to it.
Yeah. If you put it in the right barrel.
I don't know if it would mellow it out or intensify it. It's hard to tell, but I can almost get that kind of smoky flavor out of it as I think about it.
Yeah. But where we live right now, that's the big up and coming thing because we kind of live in the bourbon capital of the world here, and everybody is aging everything around here in bourbon barrels.
It's so accessible in your area to get those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
it is where we live. Yeah.
Where are you from, John?
We live. Me and Charles live about 10 minutes from Louisville, Kentucky.
Nice.
So we're right there. We're right there in Bourbon County, USA.
Not only do you have good drinks, you got good barbecue.
Yes. Yeah. We got a lot of good stuff going on here.
John,
Yeah.
have you ever had Ola Doob? When I think of
I've never had that.
about beer that's been aged in casks of hard alcohol, that's whiskey.
No.
It's not bourbon, but it's whiskey. But oh my God, Ola Doob. Or Labyrinth. Labyrinth is another one that's just a fucking amazing beer.
Wow.
Have you ever had a Labyrinth?
No.
I've never had that.
Dude, if you can find a Labyrinth anywhere, pick that shit up.
Is it bottled up there where you live?
You guys can find it because Labyrinth is one of the best beers I've ever had in my
Where's
life.
that coming from?
Labyrinth
Where's
is
that coming
amazing.
from?
Ola Doob is also really good.
Is it
Where are they
Does
brewed?
it come bottled where you live?
I'm not sure where the brewery that makes Labyrinth is. I'll have to look it up.
But can you get it where you live?
Of course, yeah.
In bottles.
Yes.
Can we work up some kind of a trade?
You might be able to find it, but yeah, I'd be happy to, if I could find a way to ship you some beer, totally illegally, I'd be totally happy to do that.
I do it all the time, UPS.
UPS?
That's an off the air live conversation.
Beer, back to this Google
Yeah.
beer.
You can ship.
Officers listening right now, I was just kidding.
You can ship beer to Indiana.
All about shipping beer across the nation.
Yeah.
We like to keep it light and fresh, and that's what a Duvel is. See my segue there? It's light and fresh Duvel.
All right, I want to bring our conversation back to Duvel.
Goody.
And I have a little bit of information about history and comments that are out of this big book of information that I have here I wanted to share with you. So the history that for the Belgian Golden Strong Ale category is it was originally developed by the Moortgat Brewery after World War II as a response to the growing popularity of Pilsner beers. Now I think it's interesting that it was built based on Pilsner beer popularity, and somebody earlier had said that they get a Pilsner smell or a Pilsner flavor out of it.
That would be mine.
Yeah, well, there you go. So right on par. It just seems like it's kind of like a Belgian version of that. Okay. So as far as comments go, it says strongly resembles a triple, but maybe even paler, lighter bodied, and even crisper and drier. The drier the finish and lighter body also serves to make the assertive hopping and spiciness more prominent. References to the devil are included in the names of many commercial examples of this style, referring to the potent alcoholic strength as a tribute to the original example, which is Duvel.
Right.
So cheers to that. The best examples are complex and delicate. High carbonation helps bring out the many flavors and to increase the perception of a dry finish, traditionally bottle conditioned, meaning re-fermented in the bottle. And so Duvel is listed as the first commercial example of this particular style of beer. So having said that, let's go through and talk about your overall impressions, what you think overall, if you like it, if it's something that you would drink on a regular basis. There was a conversation kind of going on the site about price and whether or not you think the price is worth it. And so I'd like to hear some comments on that as well.
Well, I give $18.80 for a 4-pack.
Woo! Damn.
How many ounces are those bottles?
11.2.
Boom. Rip off.
So it's like a 4-pack of this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently, me and Charles sit here and chugged them all. So apparently, it's worth the price.
So here's the difference.
Well, did you enjoy it for the price?
Yeah.
Here's the big difference for me, because it was John's money that bought it.
Bruno.
And you know what? If I'm out somewhere and somebody's got it, I don't. It's not one I think I'm gonna just go out and pick up, but I may, because I do kind of like it.
Yeah.
I just think it's kind of a little bit over the top with the carbonation.
I agree.
Yeah. Hey, and I agree a little bit with Chuck. If somebody had it, I'd drink one, but it's a little too overcarbonated for me. I mean, it's got that dull champagne taste. When I buy it again, I don't care about the price. If it's good, I'll buy it. But for this, I don't think I'd buy it again.
I'll buy it because I didn't buy it the first time.
I think that's a good perspective. Cheers to that.
I mean, I'm just being honest. I mean, it's a Beer Advocate Top 100 beer. And if it's a top 100 beer with me, I'd put it up in the 90s. But it's not a bad beer, but it's just way too overcarbonated, I think.
But I'm going to go off. I think between a couple of the off-air comments we were having between each other, and I think at some point in this review we talked about it, where it kind of has this. I mean, even more so than Stella that we reviewed a week ago with the Louisiana beer review. Go check him out. Even more so than Stella, this seems to me to be an ultimate substitute and replacement for a champagne. And if you want to get really, really good champagne that's like Vive Clicquot Yellow Label between $30 and $50 a bottle, this big, I like to wrap and chill it. This big 750 milliliter bottle is a tastier way and a cheaper way to go. And I'd say this is good beer, even if you love the Belgian beers. It's got everything. It's easily accessible, but it's got everything that's good about Belgian beer. It's got that nice, funky barnyard, yeasty, earthy, hop spice in the cloves and bananas. And I think that the Miller Coors, Budweiser drinkers, and the light lager drinkers could drink this thing on occasion and say, you know what, that was a nice change of pace. And I give it an 87 out of 100.
Yeah, I would agree with Eric on a number of those points there. Namely, using it as a substitute for champagne. I think it's a great substitute for that, and I hope I get to use that this weekend, actually.
I like that too.
So, I mean, for the price, if you're putting it in the same category as champagne, I think it's a little pricey, but it's not exorbitant. I think it's about on par for what it is. And I mean, if I were to stock my fridge with this, it'd be a different story. It's not something you
Yeah,
don't.
this is not a fridge stocker at all.
No, you don't stock your fridge with champagne.
Well,
Normal people don't stock their fridge with champagne.
my parents
usually.
do, but that's just them.
Well, maybe they have lots to celebrate.
Yeah, we celebrate the weekend that it's not snowing.
It's Tuesday. Yay!
It's not snowing. Crack open a $50 bottle of champagne.
Hey, you know what? You know just as well as I do that is definitely worth celebrating right now.
East Coast people suffer the most.
107 inches of snow, so I'm good though. This is a good beer.
Eric's had too many beers because he's got a freaking hat on backwards and he's playing his guitar.
Ah, that's how we know who started first.
Yeah.
All right, Eric Anderson, would you like to weigh in on overall impression?
It's a good beer. I think I would rate it higher than most everyone else. I think. I mean, I would. Let's say if it was Beer Advocate, I would rate at least a 4. At least a 4. If it was you know, out of 100%, I would say I would give it a 90. I'd give it a 90%. I'd say this is a really good beer, especially if you're considering what it is, and you're not going to compare it to a different kind of beer. But for this type of beer, I would consider it to be the best kind of Belgian Strong Pale Ale that exists. I would think if you want this kind of beer, this is the best kind of beer for that. I would say, yes, it's highly carbonated. All the competitors that are in the same realm are also extremely highly carbonated. So pretty much all of the negatives that you would say about this beer would also affect any other beer of the same style.
Yeah, very true.
Hey, but you know,
I think that's a really good point, actually, and I'm sorry for whoever I just talked over.
That was John.
But you know, hey, for what this beer is, I give this beer an A+ for the style. Do I like this beer? Yes, but it's way overcarbonated. But for
Not for your likes.
and for the Belgian and the fermentation of it, I give it an A- for sure.
So, Eric Anderson, you say for when you consider this style of beer, it's very, very good. Can you? I don't know that I really can. Can you name any other Belgian golden strong ales you've ever heard of before?
Well, Pyrrha is similar. Pyrrha is like the same beer, and then there's a bunch of other ones that are all playing off of that same devil name.
Yeah.
Right. That's one of the ways you can tell, yeah.
Horny Devil. Yep.
There's a lot of them. I'm having difficulty thinking of it off the top of my head, but I know I've had a bunch of them.
I'll read them off the list if you'd like.
Uh-oh.
I've got the official list. So, commercial
Delirium Tremens.
Yep,
That's one that
exactly. I was gonna say, everybody's had that.
Prankster. That's a good one that I've had.
I like you, Eric Anderson. Change.
The Salvation by Avery Brewing, and the
Hell yeah.
Inferno Ale by
Avery, yeah.
Those are all beers that I've had before that are the same style.
Yeah.
So you got.
But I would consider this one superior to any of those.
Yeah,
The
cool.
Prankster was really good. I actually really like the Prankster by North Coast Brewing. That's a very good beer as well. But yeah, I've had others of the same style that are comparable.
I like it.
Oh,
No.
to Beer Cup. The one by Avery is
Salvation.
yes,
I've had that. That's good.
that is a good beer. Not
Guys, I gotta get off here. I go to bed. So.
liner.
All right. Thanks for joining us, John Sheeran.
Don't forget about Charles.
And Chuck.
Big.
So, Charles, we've
Chuckles.
left you out for the majority of the time, and I apologize for that since I'm supposed to be mediating. Do you have any last words you'd like to share?
Last words, I give it about an 85-90%. It's good. It's really good.
All right. Last
I like
words
the
from
bit.
Chuckles.
I love the Belgian. I love the Belgian styles. A lot of people don't like that twang with that yeast, and it's good stuff.
Amen, brother.
Hey, and I gotta say this before we get off. Shout out to Beer Cup. Sorry you couldn't get the beers. We'll see you next week. Later, guys.
Yeah, have a good night. Thanks all for joining.
Hey, you're welcome.
All right, bye.